session. I know that's a common question that you all have, so we'll tackle it right here at the beginning. The recording has begun, and we are all set. For the purposes of today's Ask the Experts, you have myself, Liz Colon. I'm a senior education consultant here at FrankConnect. And you also have Vikram here. He's one of our product managers. We'll both be talking about the functionality of text messaging, and then we'll also be fielding your questions with regards to text messaging. We know that there's a lot of excitement around this feature. So as with all of our Ask the Experts up to date, first we're going to talk about the topic of the week, and today that's text messaging. Then we're going to open up the floor for questions, and questions can be about any module, any functionality. So feel free. Of course, today with so much interest around text messaging, we'll probably wind up talking about a lot of that functionality, but feel free to ask any other questions as well. Because there's such a large audience who will be joining us today, we will only be allowing the chat function here during the call. So for those of you who do have questions prepared for our session today, those questions will come to us after the initial teaching, and then we'll go ahead and answer those questions via the webinar, but we'll read the questions via the chat function. As always, if you have any questions that come up during the week, either related to this topic or an additional topic you'd like to be covered, then you can go ahead and email us at training@frankconnect.com, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. Okay, and so here are some of the additional things we'll be talking about in the weeks to come. Next week, we're looking at a preview of the Insights module. Also, you may have heard it called Intelligence. We're calling it Insights. But just wanted to make sure that you know they're one and the same. After that, we'll be looking at pro tips for opener checklists. There was a lot of the new functionality in opener. That's going to be a good one. So continue to join us here on Fridays for Ask the Experts, and we're happy to have you here on the call with us today. So let's go ahead and begin. We'll jump out of the PowerPoint and into the system. The first thing, and I'm just going to talk here for a moment before I actually begin the demonstration. The first thing that I want to talk to you about is the materials that are attached to this go-to training. There are 3 PDFs that I've attached to this training for your use and for your download. You can download them directly from this training here today. Those are all materials that are related to the SMS functionality. So you'll want to go ahead and make sure that you download those materials. So after the lesson today, you have the ability to deploy what we've discussed during the session today. Those documents are here and available to you. First is SMS for Help Center. This is for our corporate administrators. And this is going to show you and tell you what you need to do to begin the setup of SMS. If you're interested in using SMS at the location level, I've also attached some directions on that. And this is SMS for your location. If you're using the CRM product, that may make more sense. Additionally, we've got sending SMS here. And so you can take a look at how you can send in the opt-in request, and you can take a look at how you can send text messages. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that I want to go ahead and show you is that in your system, from the admin section, which appears just below your name, once you select admin, you'll go ahead and select configuration. So if you're following a path here with me, it's below your name, selecting admin, and then selecting configuration. There are going to be 2 configuration settings here related to SMS. The first is configure SMS account. When you click on that, you'll be prompted to configure your SMS account, first enabling it, and then inputting an account ID and an authentication token. Now you're probably wondering, how do I get that? You get that by signing up for a free, at this point, you can sign up for a free trial of Twilio. At some point, it will cost money per text message, but that's for you to explore as an organization. But Twilio allows you to sign up for a free trial, and you'll input your name and the details here below. Now, Twilio does have some settings that are more developer related. So if you happen to be the system administrator and don't have support in terms of IT or developers, that's okay. Because our help desk and development teams can support you. So if you're trying to set up the Twilio account and connect that with FranConnect, we have the ability now to support you on that. So you want to make sure you reach out to your help desk for support. Back in the system, once you've created or once you have your account ID and authentication token, you'll be prompted to go and configure your SMS account. This is where you're going to go ahead, and of course at this point this is a brand account, and if we look at our instructions, I'll just pull up a quick screenshot to show you what this looks like if you're also enabling the CRM option, which allows you to add for locations as well. You can see just brand, you the franchisor, or brand and locations for franchisor and franchisees. This option will only be available if you're enabling this in the CRM. So if you're enabling it in sales like I'm showing you here today, all you'll have in terms of option is for brand. Once you're done selecting the brand option and inputting your details, you'll want to go ahead and configure your phone number. And that's simply done along the right-hand side, along the actions wheel. You can go ahead and select the option to purchase phone numbers. Here, you'll be given the option to purchase a phone number local to your business organization. And this information will pull from the user profile who is setting it up. So of course, as a system administrator, my user profile is reflecting the corporate location. If I'm setting this up in CRM, then and my locations are setting it up, then they're going to be the ones who are selecting a phone number, and the system's going to go ahead and read their location. There are lots of questions coming in on the line. I'm going to defer those questions to the point when we open up for questions after the demonstration. So then we'll set up our phone number. Once that has been done, we're then in a place where we can go ahead and begin text messaging, okay? Now, again, if there happens to be some difficulty with the setup of Twilio, please reach out to the help desk. We anticipate that at a future time, we may be able to have this set up to where you don't need support. But right now, if you're wanting to go ahead and use this functionality today, help desk can support you in making sure the Twilio credentials that you put here in the system do in fact yield the result you're looking for. Okay, so once we've gone ahead and set up the back end of the system in terms of configuration, we can then come back out to configuration and set up our SMS subscription messages. And what these are our opt-in messages. So for those of you who may not be aware because you're not using text messaging today, it is absolutely required by law that you get written permission to text message your sales leads and or customers. So we have here the ability for you to configure your opt-in message. We also have the ability for you to configure your opt-out message. Once they've opted in, you have the ability to include a subscription message letting them know that they've been opted in. There is the option here for a default footer as well. Some of you may be familiar with text messaging for appointments like doctor's visits or hair appointments or things like that, dentist appointments. In my particular case, my dentist sends me appointment reminders, and at the bottom, it'll always say, you know, send an S for stop or a C for stop if you want to unsubscribe. And so it'll give me options at the footer of each text message to let me know if at this point I still am interested in unsubscribing or don't want to receive these messages any longer, I can go ahead and still safely unsubscribe. And so that would be an option that you could place here in the default footer. To make edits to any of these, of course, you'll use this little pencil mark here, and you can go ahead and make edits. Here in the documentation, you can see it's mostly at the top of the page, but you can see what each of these items mean. So reply A to start messaging, reply B to opt in, whatever the case may be. These are going to be the messages that you can use and send. So again, our two configuration settings that appear in the back end of the system for setup are configure SMS account and configure SMS subscription messages. These two are the foundation for your ability to send text messages from the system. We'll head now to the front end, where we have the option now from both the lead management page and inside the lead record to send SMS from here. Before we can send SMS, however, we have to go ahead and send the opt-in. Hang on just one second, let me get in the record. I think all of these we've sent the opt-in request to. And here it is. We can send the SMS opt-in request. When I send the SMS opt-in request, the configuration that I sent set up in the background or in the back end of the system under configuration will then be sent to the sales lead for them to go ahead and reply with an opt-in. That is your written permission to go ahead and send them text messages. Once they've opted in, down here in the record, we'll see that they've opted in. Up until the point where they reply yes to that text message, the record will reflect opt-in pending if you've sent that email. If they've elected to opt out and they don't want to receive text messages for you, the record will update with opt-out. Assuming that they've opted into your messaging, you can then begin to message them. And of course, that's done either here in the lead record or here from the lead management page. We can go ahead and select send SMS. Here on the SMS screen, we can see the number of recipients we selected, the available text credits we have left, which is going to be reflective of your agreement with Twilio. We have the ability to enable sending multimedia messages by selecting this button to turn it on, which allows us to send images along with our text message. This is great maybe if you're text messaging a reminder to sign up for Discovery Day and you want to go ahead and include a picture of a past Discovery Day to kind of entice people to go ahead and come along. You can go ahead and include an image here. Just like templates in the campaign section of the system, Your message can be personalized using keywords. So if I want to go ahead and input the name of the lead, I can go ahead and copy and paste in our first name keyword. Then I can continue typing in my message. I'm going to turn off my MMS here. Now, I do have the option then, if I'm preparing this particular message for a single recipient, I may also be preparing it for other recipients, at which point I can save this as a template. Like I always say, we keep these things public, and we'll go ahead and save our template. So now this will say, hi Jen, this is the last day to sign up for Discovery Day. And I might include a link in here, and you see I have the ability to do so, and I even have the ability to include and shorten my links so that they don't take up all of my characters for my text message. Once I'm all done preparing this, I can go ahead and click send. But before I do here on the call today, I want to go ahead and show you that any of the templates I've previously created are available for me to drop down into this text message. Now, I do get a pop-up which lets me know that my message contains keywords and that the message length may vary because of these keywords, and it'll prompt me to continue to make sure that I want to go ahead and do that, which is why I went ahead and simply placed the first name in here rather than the first name and last. Now, on my end, I've received the message. Inside of Jen's record, whom we've just sent the message to, I'll go ahead and see in her activity history the SMS history. What you're seeing here is the original text message that was sent, and while you heard me pause there for a moment, I texted back and said, great, how do I get started? So I just sent out this outbound message, and while I was pausing there on the line for a moment, I responded already. And so you can see here, we've got the outbound message to Jen, and we've got her inbound response here already on the record. You can see Jen has a pretty good activity history when it comes to text messaging. She responds well that way. And so we can go ahead and just record that conversation that we're having via text here in the record. The last thing I want to show you is that in Campaign Center, in the new Campaign Center, under Templates, if we select Manage Templates, there is an option for SMS templates as well. Here are all the templates that I've created from within a text message to a lead. And then, of course, I have the ability to create more. So you don't have to create the template, the SMS template, from a text that you're sending to someone right now. You can actually come in and prepare those as you would a campaign template as well. And then last but not least, we can select a couple of folks and send them an SMS collectively. So in the event of a Discovery Day, and you want to invite maybe 10 or 15 leads that you're working with right now to your Discovery Day, or remind them that your Discovery Day is happening and that they need to get signed up, you can select those leads and go ahead and pull down your Discovery Day template and send that out. Okay? Okay, so there are lots of questions on the line right now. I'm going to bring in Vikram on our call so he can begin talking with us as well in the discussion here. So I'm going to work my way from the top to the bottom. Okay, the first question was how to download the materials from the GoTo training. From the user side of it, you should have some type of materials option for you to go ahead and download those. If for some reason you are not seeing the availability for download, we can follow up this session with an email providing those documents to you. Next up was a question about the cost for Twilio. Does Friend Connect have a discount or promo code? Vikram, do you know anything about that?
Yep. So for that, the reason we chose Twilio send the SMSs is because they have a very reasonable cost. They are very low priced in terms of the cost. So you can go to twilio.com/SMS/pricing, and we can send you the link as well to look at how the pricing works, but the pricing would be what's available on their website.
Is there a Friend Connect promo code, Vikram?
Currently, there's not. So the pricing works as per their website.
Okay. One of the other questions on the line here is, could we use our business phone number?
Yep. So in order to do that, we would need to port over your current number over to Twilio. Twilio has an ability to allow you to port over numbers, so we can help you do that as well.
So one of the other questions on the line was, are we able to send international text using Twilio? We're based in Canada, but are mainly texting candidates in the U.S. So let me go ahead and resume showing. And I explored this a little bit the other day, and there was a section for pricing. What's the, Vikram, what's the URL again?
Yeah, so if you go to twilio.com/pricing, you should be able to navigate to that page.
Okay.
If you scroll down, messaging.
Yep. So to answer your question, they do have pricing for Canada. And it looks like it's very similar to the pricing for the U.S.
Yep.
Oh.
That's correct.
So the next question is, are you required to send the opt-in message before any text to a candidate? For example, replying to initial inquiry by text. Do we need to send an opt-in text before our text to reply to their inquiry? Yes, the answer is yes. You must send the opt-in first before the system will even allow you to send a text message to them. And there is a way in the system for you to manually mark that text messaging has been approved by the candidate. But there are regulations on this that say that the lead needs to have, let me go back up, that says that the lead or the person who has opted in needs to provide that information to you in writing. And so I think for the security and liability of your organization, you're always going to want to send the opt-in first. Perhaps if you've initially spoke with a candidate, you can get them to send you a quick email just letting you know that they've opted into text, and as long as that's here on the record, that would suffice as well. But you're going to want to go ahead and send that first opt-in text message so that you have that written reply from them that they're accepting text messages. I think that's the easiest way to do it there. Stephen, do we require an opt-in message for Australia? I'm pretty sure we only require an opt-out message. You know, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure what the legal requirements are for Australia, and I don't promise to be the legal authority on these things. So I would check with local and state and federal law in Australia to make sure that you're not violating anything there.
Yep. The other thing you can also do is on Twilio's website, they have extensive resources available to guide you through like how the regulations work on the countries that they support SMSs on. So you can like read through the FAQ documents on their website as well to get that information.
Thanks. Next question on the line is, what if a lead tries to call you on this phone number you bought? It shows $1 for cost to buy a phone number. Does each salesperson need to buy a phone number, or can you just have one? So I'm going to begin by answering the latter question, Vikram, and then I'll let you step in for the rest of it. But in terms of, does each salesperson need to buy a phone number? So in the setup, we set it up by brand, and so we're setting it up for the whole franchise or organization. So I don't believe each salesperson needs one, but Vikram, do you know something different?
Yeah, so you would just need like one number for the full brand to send these messages. Yep, so that's correct. For the first question regarding the calls, right now, like these numbers would not support calls, but I think that's a great suggestion that what we can implement is like set up a default phone number that the calls can be forwarded to in your organization, like someone at the headquarter level. So I think that's a great suggestion that we can consider adding.
Stacy asks, how many phone numbers should we purchase?
Yeah, so
go ahead.
Yep. So in order to ensure like optimum delivery rate on your messages, because we are using local numbers, so within like SMS terminology, there are two types of numbers that you can use to send SMSs. One is short code. If you have seen like 5 to 6 digit phone numbers that companies use to send SMSs, those are called short codes. And the second one are called long numbers, which is usually like a 10-digit number. Since we are using like 10-digit number to make sure that the overall cost that you are spending to send out these messages is also low, because short codes would cost you around $3,000 on a quarterly basis to lease them. So we use long numbers to keep the cost low. So to ensure deliverability on those long numbers, it's recommended that you are sending around like 250 messages on each phone number per day. So it depends upon like the volume of messages you would want to send. So if you have like a need of sending somewhere around like 1,000 messages, you can get like 4 phone numbers, and the system would automatically distribute those messages to the leads. And once a particular lead receives a particular message from a phone number, that then lead can respond to that, and you can continue to manage that engagement on that same phone number moving forward.
Okay. Hi, Brittany. Can you send us a recording of this training via email? Yes, we typically publish this recording after the session, and our marketing team does send it out when they send out the invitation to next week. So that will come out to you via email. There's a question on the line from Stacy. How many text credits would you need? 1 credit equals 1 message. I would just take a look at the pricing here. You can see here the local connectivity. Vikram, can you speak to that? I think it's just a cost per text message versus a credit. Yep,
so each credit is equal to 1 text, and the information that regarding the credits is available in your account when you sign up, so you can like keep track of like how the charges are being calculated on your SMS usage within your Twilio account on the credit and dollar basis.
Glenn's got a question here, Vikram. It's related to the question list that you and I had discussed previously. It's, can we filter leads by those that have opted in and by a date range? We do have a report here that's available for SMS, and it's the SMS send report. So this is just going to show us who has received SMSs at this point, right, Vikram?
Yep. So it would also show you like how many SMSs are pending, how many are delivered, and how many were failed to go out. Right now, the report doesn't show who have not opted in, but we'll certainly add that as well. I think that's a great suggestion.
So Amy is asking, can SMS be sent to franchisees?
Yep. So as part of our overall roadmap with SMS functionality, we would be adding this under Info Manager as well. So you would be able to use this functionality in Info Manager, and as soon as we have a timeline for that, we'll be happy to share that.
Question about if Twilio has pricing for Australia, and it looks like they do. Okay, Stacy's asking, should regional developers set up their own Twilio account? Can you set up one Twilio account and choose multiple numbers with area codes across the country?
Yep. So what would happen in this case is from the corporate login, you would need to just get different phone numbers. But as of now, like the system would automatically distribute based upon like the volume that you are sending. So I'll look into like how we can distribute that on a regional basis and provide more clarifications on that.
Okay. Is asking, are templates user-specific or available to all admins? How about lists? Or does each user create their own? So just like with other campaign templates and messaging, Marianne, you have the option to create templates either as public or private. If you create a public template, then it's available for other users to use. If you create a private template, then it's available for you to use. In terms of lists, like lists of leads, I'm not sure if that's what you're referring to. So I'll let you clarify that particular point. Vikram, is anything standing out to you on that one that you think you can answer?
Yeah, so in order to send out the message, you would need to go to the lead management and choose the leads from there as of now. So as part of our next release, we're also introducing this functionality under the campaigns piece. So you would be able to schedule campaigns directly from the campaign center, and then you would be able to save your lead list under groups and schedule it for that list.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense now. Thanks, Vikram. Yeah, so at this point, we have to select each lead individually versus like campaigning leads in a large group, as Vikram said. So Glenn's asking, I think this is a really good suggestion. Can the opt-in request be auto-delivered when a lead first enters Spring Connect?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a great suggestion. So we will add that to the roadmap as well.
Yeah, that's a great workflow.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, thanks for that, Glenn.
Stacy's asking, is the phone number a separate cost to the Twilio account, or is it all in one, phone numbers and messages? She put credits, but they're just messages.
Yep, so everything would be part of your account under Twilio. So if you scroll down to the pricing, so yeah, so the numbers that you would purchase from within FranConnect would also be available to track, and the billing would work all under one Twilio account.
So Amy's asking, we would want to use this for all of our franchise locations. Could we send the opt-in all at one time, or do we have to do it one by one?
So you mean like for the customers that you are, or the contacts you are managing in the CRM module?
Let me see if I can unmute Amy here real quick. Yeah, Amy doesn't have her audio turned on. Amy, I
Okay.
sent you your audio pin, but if you want to clarify for us, that'd be super. All right, yeah, are you talking about using this in CRM then? Or are you talking about using it in Information Manager at the point where that's released?
Yeah, so if the question is regarding the CRM module, you would be able to send out opt-in messages for leads for your franchisee locations or customers for your franchisee locations in bulk from the corporate login. And as they opt in, like you would be able to send out messages for their contacts from corporate login as well. For Information Manager, we still are working on like adding this functionality to that module. So in order to engage with your franchisees through text, that's upcoming.
Yeah, so I think another similar question, can you send a bulk opt-in all the leads at once? So that's going to be more in like the campaign feature where we can add them to a group, right?
Yep. Yep.
You do have the option to potentially add sets using the, the check mark and then the actions button. So you can send multiple at a time. I think Patrick's asking, so what happens if someone actually tries to call the number? Is it possible to have a call forwarding? And I think you answered that, Vikram, that yes, we can set that up in Twilio, right?
Yep. So yeah, we can help you set that up. So as you are using this functionality, feel free to reach out and we can help out with that setup.
And then Rob has the question, can we set this up to send a specific text as soon as someone opts in, like an auto reply message? There is an auto reply. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that would be part of our campaigns functionality, where you would be able to set up an autoresponder similar to the auto responders on the email that you can do right now, that you can set up. But when they opt in, like you can send one confirmation message that can be configured like across the board for all the opt-ins.
Yeah, so this is just like your subscription message. You've been opted in for this, and it's pretty basic. It's not like, thanks so much for your interest in our franchise organization. We'll be setting up an appointment with you soon kind of text message. That would be part of campaigns, which is coming later. So Stacy, you're asking, can you text the lead if they give you verbal permission? I think you just have to check with your legal or check with state and local guidelines or federal guidelines on this. As far as everything that I've read, you have to have written permission, which is why the need for the opt-in. So Michael's asking, may we rotate leads? Can our franchise developers use their office or cell phone numbers rather than a purchase number and have separate responses set up per developer?
Yeah, so in order to send out messages from the system, we need to have a number that is set up on Twilio. So the recommendation would be that we use a separate number for that. As part of the future change, we would be exploring like how you can also forward some of the text messages to a particular phone number, so that if someone is using their mobile number to send out text messages, they can just send or forward a particular message, and that would be tracked into the lead record. But for now, the recommendation is that that's set up as a separate number to send out messages from the system.
Is there any after-hours response? So what happens when we aren't at our computer?
Yeah, so I think in order to achieve that, as we add this functionality to the workflows, you can like set up an automatic workflow to trigger based upon certain criteria that you would define. For if someone is not like available, you can send an autoresponder back to them on that message.
And in addition, I think in today's mobile world, with the enhancement of our mobile app, you know, there's a possibility for the mobile app to work when you're not at your desktop in this particular regard. So, of course, an after-hours response could be available, but in today's tech world, the mobile app would suffice when you're not at.
Yep, you would be able to access the SMS history on the mobile app as well. So, like, if someone is on the go, any like salesperson on the go, they can access that on the mobile app to ensure that if the message requires any urgent response, they at least can reach out to that lead and let them know or provide an update to them even after hours.
Keith, I think we've kind of answered this question, but we'll explore it again. So Keith is saying we use cellular phones for everything for franchise sales, no landlines at all. Can we use the system with our cellular numbers to save the cost of using Twilio? I think we've answered that. Vikram in saying that the best way right now is to have the separate number. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that number is used to like track all the communication back and forth in the system. So the recommendation would be like to use a separate number for tracking purposes.
So yes, Marianne, groups are available to all admins. So in sales, under groups, unless for some reason it's restricted in your system, you have the ability to create either a public or a private group. So if you're creating groups of people, then of course you can create a public group which would be viewable by everyone, or a private group. And on all of my trainings, I talk about leaving things, especially in the sales module, as public for oversight purposes. We want to make sure there's no violation of any equal opportunity, sort of unintentionally by someone when they group people together. And so I always say rule of thumb, keep it public. There are some franchise systems who make these who make these private simply because each person using a group or a campaign may have their own set, and that set could be very vast, and so the list could be very full if they're all set as public. So I think it just depends on what you decide as an organization to do. But all of these have accessibility sort of limitations as to whether or not you want it to be public or private. Okay. So Kendra is asking, when we get a new text message, are we notified via email or something?
Yep.
I believe
not right.
when we have that. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. So not right now, but we are adding push notifications on our mobile app for it, and also we would be triggering email notifications as part of it within our next release.
Okay. Another question is, when I send the opt-in request, one of the errors is that the lead country is other than USA. So is sales only set up to allow it to work with leads in USA? We may have to explore that one, Kelly. Vikram, do you know?
Yep. We would have to explore that one, like how.
Okay.
SMS sent, because I think what would happen is in order to send out messages from from the system to Canada, you would need a Canadian phone number. So yeah, we can explore that and give you more options on this.
That is, believe it or not, the end of our question list. And I think in the history of me doing ATEs at this point, which started in the last quarter of last year, this has been the most questions that we received. So that's awesome. It's been great to hear everybody's questions and to go ahead and see your thought process and how everybody's kind of thinking about using this internally in their system. We've got about 10 minutes left reserved for our call today, so if you're kind of holding back on a question, feel free to chat it to us, and we're happy to continue to respond to those. So we'll give you a few minutes on that. Oh, here we go. Where will we be able to access the recording of this again? So Michael, it'll be sent to you via email probably early next week, and then you'll be able to access it via a link that we send you, and that'll come from our marketing department. Patrick, do we know if there's a minimum number of credits you must buy? In looking at the pricing here, it looks like it's a simple price per text message, but Vikram, do you know anything additional?
Yeah, so it would depend upon the number of messages you plan to send. So okay. Yeah, you can just change the volume of the credits based upon that.
One of our franchisees franchisors is already in the process of testing this for us, and she says the free trial you're allowed 200 to be used in 30 days. So Patrick, if that helps, that came from Kelly, by the way. All right. Jamila is asking, do all SMS vendors provide the authentication code? Are they mostly compatible with FrankConnect? Is there a list of vendors? And go ahead, Vikram.
Yep. So that authentication code that is used over here is specific to Twilio. Depending upon which particular vendor you are using on the back end, they might be using Twilio, but you will need to check with them to get the authentication code if they can provide that. But this particular configuration would work just for Twilio.
Okay. Jamila, can we send appointment reminders through SMS? I don't see why not. Would it sync with the reminders I create for the lead record? So you're thinking if I set up a task, could that task then be set up to be a text a reminder for that task. And I think that's a really good suggestion.
Yep.
Okay, keep sending them our way. Okay, it looks like there aren't any more questions populating here. Oh, maybe one more. So when someone responds via text, does it auto-populate in their lead page? You got it, Patrick. It does, absolutely. So here, even on the call, I sent a text message to myself, Jen Smith here, even though I'm list alone. Good old Jen Smith has my phone number here in the record, and I went ahead and sent her a text message. And while we were on the call, just in this demonstration, I immediately texted back from the one I received here from the system, and the response automatically went inside her records. So we're keeping up, you know, we talk a lot about in our training that two-way communication and making sure that it's recorded here in the system. And so here you can see that this two-way is here. Good question. So Michael, I think your question, can it be set up to send a specific response after they open a certain email like the FDD? I think that's a great suggestion. I think we'll see that develop when we add this to campaigns and workflows. We'll be able to, you know, workflows now today allows us to send, you know, an email template out to our leads based on all kinds of things that are triggered by the system. And so I think that's a really good enhancement that we'll check out or add to the roadmap. Kelly, I'm looking at, I don't know where you are. Oh, okay. Okay, so Vikram, just so you know, Kelly is asking right now, well, why Jen last contacted hasn't updated. And you see here it says not contacted. We'll go ahead and take that one, Kel. Yes, Patrick, I completely agree. So if they respond and your next task with them is not for another 5 days, you could be basically ignoring them for 5 days. Noted, Patrick. It's on the roadmap. Vikram and I talked about this a couple days ago. The notifications and the push notifications to mobile. Any other questions? Well, you all have been a super awesome audience today. It's been great to, again, hear your questions and, of course, for us to better understand how you plan to use it so we can make sure that we enhance this functionality in the next couple of releases to meet your requirements. So, of course, today we have SMS here available to you so that you can go ahead and message out to your leads. And then, of course, we're working on these other things for you to make sure that we enhance this to a place where you feel like, you know, you can use it in your organization for the way that you plan to use it. So, anything else you want to add, Vikram?
No, I think the session was super helpful, like for all the feedback that we have received. Thank you, everyone, for that.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and I'm going to go ahead and start the recording now, and the session is over. Stacey, I'll follow up with you on that last question you put out there, and we'll talk to you soon. We'll see you in the next ATE. Thank you. Bye.